Hello everyone! Oh my goodness, I can't believe it is almost the end of July. Today it is July 27th. That means I've been here for a month. I've been here for a month. Time has just flown by. If you guys are new here, my name is Erica Correa and I'm currently living in Rochester, New York, doing an orthodontics preceptorship program at Eastman. I'm so excited to be sharing my experiences with you guys. So far, it has been amazing. Every single day, I can't believe that I'm in this program. It's really unreal. Literally a dream come true that I'm doing only orthodontics every day. And hopefully in the future, of course, that is the goal. I've learned a ton of stuff. So some of the things we've done are learned about Nance analysis, Bolton analysis. So the Nance analysis is like a space analysis for a mixed dentition case. Bolton analysis is if there's a tooth discrepancy. Then we've also done a couple of projects. So one of the projects was the first one that we did, which was the Diagnostic ABO cast setup. So we had to trim models and make them look perfect and shiny and all that. If you went to USC, this is very similar to Dr. Magnier's Fuji Stone white cast. So it really brought me back to dental school. So the project we did after that is the wire bending. We started our first wire bending class and yesterday was a complete fail. I was wire bending for 4 hours. Maybe it was less, but it felt at least like 4 hours. It was like the entire second half of the day. So we were wire bending and I basically made no progress. I had to cut the wire and start over after every single bend. It was a humbling process. I was very frustrated, very, very frustrated. I was like, I don't know, first of all, why I'm bending this wire towards the gums. This is the hardest thing in the world. I'm not gonna have to do this as an orthodontist, but I was just so frustrated because I couldn't do it. But today's a new day. I was able to bend the wire. All right, you guys, it is 5 p.m. I was wire bending for the past 2 hours, but I finished my mandibular G-wire and I'm pretty proud of it. It looks really good and this is the best work I've done so far. So I'm very happy with it. 2 days ago, I wasn't able to do this, so just keep that in mind. Today's day 3 of wire bending. Day 1 was a complete fail, everything I had to throw in the trash, all the wires, I had nothing to show. Day 2, I did the maxillary wire and it wasn't perfect, but I got something done. But today, everything can be improved, everything can be better, but this is pretty good. I'm pretty proud of it. And this is my wire. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the camera, but this is the wire that I bent by hand. I can barely believe that I bent this all by hand. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy with how it turned out. And it's passive, so when I place it on the gums, the way it sits on the gums is the same on the teeth and out of the teeth. So, yep, that is the G-wire from day 3 of wire bending. I remember doing this in dental school, bending wires because we had to make a thumb holly retainer. And I remember I could not do it then either. I got a lot of help from the ortho residents at USC. So did everyone else. Now I need to know how to do it. I need to know how to bend a wire if I'm going to be an orthodontist. So it's taking me a lot longer to figure out how to do it, but I'm starting to understand how to do it, which is very exciting. And then after wire bending, we also did the diagnostic setup project. So that was probably the most time consuming, hardest project. I really felt like an orthodontist. The most you could feel like an orthodontist as an orthodontic preceptor, you know? This is the diagnostic setup project. It's basically a class 2 patient and I duplicated the cast and then I cut up all the teeth, made some bases, and now I basically have to fit all the teeth back together in their ideal position. So I also had to come up with a treatment plan and basically do orthodontics on models is basically what it is. It's kind of challenging because cutting all these teeth is not a very easy process. For my treatment plan, I decided to extract the premolars on top, the upper 4s, which are number 5 and number 12 in the other dental numbers. Now I'm basically going to try to put it all together and see if it fits. Originally, I was going to try to do this non-extraction by just trying to fit in all the teeth, but it wasn't working out. it came out really great. I'm so happy about how it turned out. I didn't come up with all this myself, you know. I got the case from an upperclassman and I did get some help, so just putting that out there. Like, it's not like I learned how to become an orthodontist in just a month. That's impossible, okay? I'm just very excited at this moment in time because this is when I'm first learning all these things, so I don't want to forget this excitement. When I'm practicing 30 years from now, I want to remember how excited I was 30 years back. After that project, we did our first bonding exercise. We had all the bonding materials and then the brackets, and then we practiced bonding. We practiced looking at the brackets with our mirrors, like from the lingual and from the sides. It was nice to be able to practice on a typodont, and then we bonded our brackets and licured them, and yeah, that was fun. And then for the project we're going to work on later on, the cephalometric tracings. So for this, we have to get a ceph from an upperclassman as well and trace it out using acetate paper. We're currently learning about cephalometrics with Dr. Gallo. He's teaching us all of the anatomical landmarks, and then we get to trace them out ourselves and practice. So I've done this before in dental school, and I remember being frustrated because I didn't know what these things were. So everything when you first start off is frustrating, you know? So now that I'm learning it again, seeing it again, it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more enjoyable. I'm kind of excited to trace again. That's what I've been up to. Life has been great. Every single day, I'm just so thankful to be here. This really is a dream come true. I just had to come on here one more time. Today was one of the bestest days I've had so far. Today we got to bond brackets and we got to put the wire in and basically do orthodontics on a typodont. It was awesome. Let me tell you more about it. So the system we used today was called Speed. Speed is an active system that is self-ligating, so similar to Damon. I'm assuming you may be more familiar with Damon, but that's probably such a bad assumption. But the reason I'm assuming that is because I was familiar with Damon brackets, but that is because I had Damon brackets placed on my teeth like 10 years ago when I had braces, and I remember that it was a self-ligating system because I really wanted those O-ties, but my orthodontist said that they have little doors. So Speed, the system that we use today, is similar in the fact that it has little doors and it is self-ligating. So that means you don't need the little O-tie to hold the wire in. It was so fun. So first we started off with this typodont with misaligned teeth. The occlusion was not perfect. Of course, they needed braces. So we first placed the Speed brackets on the teeth, and that was probably the worst part. But that's just because we didn't use a light cure. The type of composite or the type of resin that we used to bond the brackets was like a paste that you had to mix together, and it was a chemical bond. The reason why it was so difficult was because the setting time was so short, and it was just difficult. But in the real world or in clinic, one day when I am placing Speed brackets, we're still manifesting. So one day when I'm in the clinic placing Speed brackets, it would be a different type of resin where I would light cure. So that being said, I'm assuming it will get easier. Anyways, after we bonded the brackets, we put in our first wires. So for the light wire that I used on the upper arch, I used an 014 Nightie upper arch wire. And then on the lower arch, I used a super cable. So I've never heard of a super cable. This is the first time I've heard of it. It's even more flexible than a Nightie. So that was interesting. And then I dunked it in the water, took it out, and this stage, it was the leveling and aligning stage. So some of the teeth were leveling out, but it wasn't completely straight. So then I I got some leveling done, so I moved up in wires. So for the upper arch, I moved it to an 018 NiTi, and in the lower arch, I moved it to an 016 NiTi. And we're still in the leveling and aligning phase because we are in NiTis. And then I dunked it in water, took it out, saw what aligned, what still needs to be aligned. Then I upped the wire again. On the upper arch, I changed the wire to an 18 by 18 NiTi, so it's a stronger NiTi. But since it's NiTi, that means I'm still leveling and aligning. And then on the lower arch, I changed the wire to an 18 NiTi. All right, then I dunked it in the water, took it out again, saw what changed. So now I'm all leveled and aligned on the top. So I moved it up to a stainless steel. So on the upper arch wire, I used an 18 by 18 by 17 stainless steel. I was really confused about the dimensions of this wire at first. The reason why there are 3 dimensions is because from canine to canine, I believe, in the anterior region, it's a square. And then in the posterior region, it is round stainless steel. So it makes it easier to engage into the tubes. And then on the lower arch wire, I moved it up to an 18 by 18 NiTi, dunked it in water, took it back out. Then I moved up in wires. So now we're in the 5th appointment. I don't know if I'm seeing the patient every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks. I'm not sure yet. I'm not at that stage, but I just know this is the 5th appointment. So the upper arch wire is now an 18 by 18 by 17 stainless steel, so I didn't change the wire. But on the lower arch, before I was in the NiTi, so now I moved it up to the 18 by 18 by 17 stainless steel. So now I'm on stainless steel on both. And when I moved up to the stainless steel, I also put in a reverse curve. So I bent the wire a little bit to level out the curve of SPE. So normally I'm going to use the lower arch as an example. Our teeth have a curve of SPE that goes like this. On the top, it goes like this. So one thing that orthodontists try to do is level out that curve of SPE. I don't know exactly why yet, but that's just one of the goals. So I took my wire and I put a bend in it like this, kind of just going like this with my hands. And that's the wire that I used for the lower arch to level the curve of SPE. So that's a reverse curve. And then I also started to add elastics, class 2 elastics, to try to close up my spaces and to try to close my to try to bring my canines into class 1. So then I did a couple rounds of dunking with the elastics, and then at the end I power chained to close the spaces. And yeah, that was today. It was the coolest project I've done so far. Clearly I'm so excited still. It was really difficult to hold in my excitement. Literally doing every step, I was so excited. Yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I'm even more excited for next week because next week we're going off campus to Great Lakes to do a week long of all different types of appliances. So I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to bring you guys more content in the future, but of course school comes first. And I'm doing a master's program, so I know it's going to get busy very fast. I'm going to try my best. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.